welcome. This is Beyond the Veil, our home podcast. This podcast is going to be sometimes on video, but mostly a talk podcast. I am your host, Daniel Jackson. As far as being your host and how I say that I am qualified to do this type of show, I am I'm a working medium. I'm a spirit medium. I have been a working medium for about 4 years now. Didn't know I was a medium until, I don't know, it was around my 50th birthday. I've always seen spirit my entire life. Everywhere I've gone, everywhere I've been, when I was a child, we had spirit in our house. But from then we moved on to other houses. I moved down to Delaware with my mom and dad, and I saw spirit down there as well. Would see all kinds of shadows, all kinds of little white figures coming out of the walls and closets. I remember I was with a girlfriend at one time, and we saw something come out of the closet as we were watching TV. It just floated right across the room, and both of us were like stunned. And she turned around, looked at me. She said, "Did you see that?" I said, "Yeah, I saw that." So we said, "Hey, let's get out of here," because it was a little crazy. But after a while, I got used to it. I just it didn't faze me as much. I wasn't stunned so much. Up until a point where I was in my 20s, I was a drummer in a rock band. And I was out one time playing the gig, came home, went to sleep, laid down in the bed, went to sleep. And when I did that, something laid down in the bed next to me. I could feel the pillow, and a crease in the pillow. I could feel something lay down right next to me. I was like, "Oh, what is this?" So I sat up, looked around. I didn't see anything. Laid back down again. Did this like 3, 4, 5 times, and every time I felt something lay down next to me, and it was freaking me out a little bit. But me being used to everything, I was okay with it. And then I laid down one more time, and when I did, the blanket that I had on top of me, it picked the blanket up over me and shook it right over top of me. I was frightened at that point. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't get words out of my mouth. And then it dropped it on me. And I was like, "What the heck?" And I got up. I ran out of the room. And for the next 2 years, I slept on my couch downstairs at my parents' house. It really freaked me out. So I just stayed down there on the couch for a couple of years. And I didn't know what to do at that point. I guess at that point I was scared of it, because I grew up as a Catholic, in the Catholic religion. You're not supposed to be talking with spirit or anything like that. You're supposed to be afraid of that stuff because they kind of teach you that there's this guy named Lucifer who is Satan, the devil, and if you have something like going on with that, that was around the time when the movie Poltergeist was out, and you saw all these things, and you're like, "Oh, you should be afraid of this." And because TV and movie, they want you to be afraid of this. They want you to think that this is just bad stuff. These are demons. They're coming after you. They're going to attack you, and that's what I thought. So from that point, I got a little older, and even though I was still seeing things, I never really understood it. So from that point, when I got a little older, and I had gotten married the first time, not everything works out, you know how that goes. But I got married the first time, and I was still seeing stuff. Then I met my second wife after being single for a while. We got married. We were in the home for a while, and then we ended up getting married. But it was right before that time. No, I'm sorry. It was around that time. It was around that time we were already married, and my wife was going on trips to see her daughter because her daughter's husband was in the military as well as she was, but they were out on the West Coast. So she would go out to visit, and when she did, man, all kinds of stuff was going on in my house. I was down here in the basement. My cat was with me, and the cat turned around and looked and saw something. I was like, "What's he looking at?" And and I I saw this wall of blackness show up, and I saw this man come out of the wall of blackness, and I was like, "What is that?" And then I was seeing these like green mist and skulls come out of the wall, and skeletons, and all these shapes of like cloudy shapes coming out of the walls and out of the ceiling, all this other stuff, and it was really freaking me out. So it was at that point, my wife had told me she had been seeing some things too, and I told her, "Well, I've already seen things, and now you're seeing things. Maybe we should get some help for this." So we started seeking out some help for it. I was trying to get online and talk to different mediums and different paranormal groups. And finally, a paranormal group decided it was going to come to my house, and we spoke, and they came to the house. But when they pulled up, they had their little van show up, and they had their name on the side of the van, and I was like, "Oh man, I don't want to be this kind of famous, because people are going to start talking. They're going to think the Blair Witch Project is happening at my house, and what's going on here, or some type of poltergeist movie is going on in the house that they don't know about." So. But they came in, and they set up all this equipment like you see on all the TV shows, and little boxes with antennas. And the guys, I said to him, I said, "What's that all about?" He said, "Well, they get set off from static electricity." And he showed me how he rubbed his hand on the couch, and he wanded his hand over top of it, and you hear this bloop, and goes. I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "That's what energy they put out. They put out this type of energy. So when they walk by, it's going to go off." And I was like, "Oh, okay, no problem." So, and then they were taking digital photos of me walking around the house, talking to each person in the house and each person part of the group, and it was just neat stuff to see, because it was everything you wanted to see that was on the TV shows. Because I always watched those TV shows, and just had a fascination with it. And I guess the fascination was because, I was seeing so much that I just wanted to find out some real answers, maybe why I was seeing all this stuff. So then I happened to walk past those little boxes that were on the chair, and not even 2-3 seconds after I walked past them, bloop, they all lit up. And the people in the house that were with me, they were like these people, these hunters, ghost hunters, per se. They were like, "What is going on here?" And then when they were taking the pictures with the camera, I saw the girl pointing to the camera, and she's asking each of the members to come over and take a look at it. And I said, "What's going on?" They said, "Well, we're really not supposed to tell you what's going on with that. We're supposed to do the big reveal, and we'll come back and tell you all about that." And I said, "Can you show me something?" And she shows me these pictures, and I'm walking around the house, and you see all these light orbs around me, and I was like, "Whoa, what is going on here?" So, and eventually, we did some other tests, and they got all kinds of information. I mean, they used this thing called an ovulus, and it was spitting out words when energy was going in it, and it was saying words like unique. It said the names Paul and Wendy and Helen, and one time it said the word road, and when it said the word road, 5 seconds after, a car goes past the house, and I was like, "What the hell?" Yeah, it was really cool. We were getting all kinds of information, but the problem was, I didn't need to know if I had spirit in my house. I needed to know why I had all these spirit in my house. What was going on? Why are they coming here? And why are they everywhere I go? As it turns out, after seeing all these other mediums, because I sought out a bunch of them, and I finally got a hold of them, they all told me the same story. And they all told me the same story about me, except none of these mediums knew each other. And I said, well, okay, well, if they're all telling me the same story, there's got to be some type of connection here where this is actually real, is what's going on. So at that point, it was, the story was, I was this super bright white light that Spirit sees, and they come to me because they believe I'm the light into heaven. Uh, and so I had to figure that out. And it took me a while. Like I said, this all happened right before my 50th birthday. And after speaking to these mediums, one of them actually told me, you have to have a sit down. You need to talk with God or whoever it is that you want to talk to. If you wanted to call him God, you want to call him a higher power, whichever you want to call him. You need to have a talk with him because you need to figure out what you want to do. So you got two options. You can either move forward with this, or you could just decide to let it go and push it away. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to push it away. I knew I didn't want to do that because if I'd done that, I would have just felt like something was missing out of my life. So I said, what? I'll have this talk. I'll talk to God and say, hey, I want this to go forward. Because in actuality, what it was is they were bringing me all this stuff to sort of test me to see if I would be freaked out or if I would just move forward with it. So when I had that sit down talk with them, I said, I really want to move forward with this. After that, the next day, everything changed. I didn't see so much of what I thought was scary stuff. I saw better things. I was getting more messages. So, I had to develop my gift. And after developing my gift, things have been becoming a lot easier for me. And now, so my goal with that gift is I want to help people. I don't need to do it for tons of money because there are lots of other mediums out there that I have seen or people within this business who seem to want to do it for tons of money, And my thing on that is I don't believe I need to have, 6 motorcycles and 10 cars and 7 houses while along, helping people. I don't really see that as helping people. I see that as me trying to help myself. And, that's a big problem in this world. We have trouble doing that. We're always conscious about how much money we have in our bank and what kind of rings we have on our fingers and how much jewelry we're wearing, those types of things, and how much better I need to be than someone else or how much power I need to have over someone else. Where, that's not the true reason why we're here. I have figured it out through the messages that they've been bringing me to let me know, while I'm helping people that, we're not here for those types of things. We're not here for all this bling, all that type of stuff. We're here to help people, but not enough people can understand that. So there are a lot of us who are being awakened. We are being woken up, and we are being woken up so we can teach other people about that. And and that's what this podcast is going to be about. So enough about me, and let's move on to what this podcast is really going to be about. What it's going to be about is, the one thing it's not going to be is like some of these other TV shows that are out there. A lot of these TV shows, like I said, they show you spirit or they show you UFOs and aliens. And they don't really give you any definitive answers. You see these guys on the shows, from the alien shows specifically, and they talk about, all the information they got from like the 1960s and 70s and 40s and 30s, what have you. But, there are still things happening in this world today, but they don't really talk about the new stuff, but the government likes to put out things every now and then. They're going to release information, but then they're not going to release information. It's just a bunch of bull crap all the time. They're never giving us a true answer. They're never giving us, they're right on the edge of things. They're about, they have it on the show where it looks like, okay, after the commercial, they're going to give you something new and exciting to know about. And then they just use these power words, these power phrases to get you to watch the shows. And you think, okay, the whole 29 minutes of the show has been pretty much boring. I've heard the stuff from the 1940s and 50s and 60s. And now they're going to bring me something new. And then commercials over, and they really don't tell you anything else after that. And it gets to be boring after a while. I want to know the truth. I know everyone else out there wants to know the truth. We want to know what's really going on. You hear about too many sightings of everything, too many sightings of spirit, too many sightings of UFOs and other, metaphysical things and non-metaphysical things and supernatural things. You hear about these, and it's a lot of talk. People hear about it and they talk about it, but you never really get any true answers about what's really going on. So with this show, we're not going to give you that bullshit stuff. We're not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I can't bring myself to do it because I'm not doing this show to be like another one of those shows where you just talk about, supposed things or, I can't talk about it because, behind the scenes, I still work for the government and that type of thing. So I can't tell you the real truth, but they like to I want to bring out some misdirection. So, all that crap. We're not going to do that. This show, we're going to talk about the truth. We're going to talk about the whole truth and nothing but the truth. It's going to be truth. I get a lot of answers by being a spirit medium. I have other friends who are also within this business. So, we're going to have other guests come on the show and talk about these things too. We're going to be real people talking about real subjects. It's not going to be a bunch of editing for this show. The show is not going to be scripted. It's going to be a straightforward show. And we're just going to talk about, these topics. We're going to talk about them throughout the show, and we're going to talk about them through every different episode because we got quite a few seasons already planned. We have quite a few shows already planned, and this is good. This is the first show, just putting it out there so people can know, we're going to be out there. But what I really want you to know is we're not going to be one of these shows that, gives you a bunch of bullshit answers. We're going to talk about real things, and you're going to get real answers. We're also going to be doing on this show a live stream once a month. When we're doing the live stream, we're going to be taking calls on that live stream. So, if you want to come in and you want to ask a question about that particular subject or anything else the type of things that we cover, you can ask a question and you'll get the answer, or you'll get the best answer that we can give you at that time until we do some more research on it. But we're going to do our research with all this. We're, it's the one thing I always tell people whenever I do readings for people, that I let them know that, I see a lot of mediums out there. I see a lot of people in this business who want to put a little bit of a glaze over top of things. They want you to think the world is all rainbows and unicorns when it's not. We all know that it's not. We all know that the world is, a lot different than news and the government and other people want you to think it is. They want you to have blinders on. They want you to walk around and spend your money and go on vacations and while spending your money going completely into debt. They want you to do these things, as we should all know, especially right now in these times with COVID-19 out there and all that, and they're telling people you got to take these vaccines, and then all these people are now having side effects but the government is denying there's no real side effects, but there are side effects, and now they're finally admitting that there are side effects and people are dying from it. When I was young, every time they come out with a new medicine, they talk about a new medicine coming out. These medicines, they take 4 to 6 years to come out. Now they're pushing this one out, within 6 months, and people are getting sick. No wonder they're getting sick, So, People just don't. They put too much faith in the government. There are a lot of people who do, but there are a lot of people who don't. As they say, I'm not going to drink the Kool-Aid that they're feeding me because this is bullshit. So you got to watch out for those types of things. And we're going to talk about those types of things on this show. The type of subjects we're going to talk about on the show. We're going to talk about the spirit realm. We're going to talk about astrology, UFOs, aliens, government control, religious control. That's a big one in my book, religious control. We're going to talk about everything metaphysical, everything supernatural. But the one that we're not going to limit ourselves to these things either. As the show progresses, we're going to talk about many, many other subjects as well. But it's all going to be about the truth. Because we need to put the truth out there. Because like I said, a lot of problems is the world wants you to believe a certain way. Religion wants you to believe a certain way. The government wants you to believe a certain way. And as I like to talk about, they, you know who they are. They tell you one day to not eat bacon, but they tell you the next day it's okay to eat bacon. Or they tell you to wear these certain types of clothes. They want to be in control of everyone in this world. It's their narrative, and they're the ones who are putting it out there. You got to watch out for they. I think they need to shut the hell up is what they need to do because, again, it's just a bunch of bunch of bunch of bullshit that they're just trying to feed you to try to get you to believe so they can keep you under their thumb. They can keep you from knowing what's really going on in this world. They will try to hide everything and anything from you while feeding you just a little bit so to keep you occupied. And again, they're just trying to keep you occupied to the point where, you don't really know what's happening out in your world. They feed you what they want and not what you're supposed to hear, but they feed you what they want you to hear. And some people have caught on to that deal. We're not going to do that. We're not going to feed you things and give you a little baby spoon and give you a little taste here and there. We're going to put it straight out there because it's about time that it is straight out there. Okay, so we're just going to get out there as much as we can. We think the show, we're going to record as many shows as we can. We're going to start dropping shows real soon. And we're going to try to put them out at least once every 2 weeks, depending upon how the public and the viewers out there and the listeners out there are perceiving the show. If they're enjoying the show, they're liking the show, then we'll try to put more shows out more times. If we can get one out a week, we'll do that. But it all depends upon you. So if you can, please subscribe to our channel. We have a website called Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson. I have a website on Facebook, Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson. You can see the repetition here. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on LinkedIn. We're on YouTube. We're on Patreon. We're all over the place. I have a specific website. If you want to book a reading with me, you can talk about. It's spiritmediumdaniel.com. That's www.spiritmediumdaniel.com. I do personal readings for people. But throughout those readings, like I said, I'm not really in this to do for money. It's not about money for me. It's about helping people. When I do readings for people, I know a lot of mediums out there who will charge you $450 an hour. And if you go over a couple of minutes, it's okay. But if you get into that 10-minute, 15-minute area, they start charging you again. I'm not about that. I do a reading for someone, it's $75. I don't care if the reading goes for 3-4 hours. And I've had readings that have gone 5 hours. And I'm okay with it because, again, it's not about me. It's not about trying to get money so I can make some payments on a car or something like that. It's about me trying to help people. And that's what's important to me, helping people, getting the word out there, getting the message out there, getting the truth out there. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do with this show. We're going to bring the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Well, that's about it for me. So I just want to make sure that I hope we get a lot of listeners. It's not depending on how many listeners we get, as long as we get listeners. They talk about, how many downloads you get, or, the analytics of the show. We're not going to stop doing the show because we have either high or low analytics. We're just going to put the message out there. And eventually, people are going to listen. Eventually, they're going to notice that we're not like these regular, put the thin film of shiny over top of the show so we look better than someone else, or we're trying to prove a point to someone else, or we're much cooler than anybody else. We're the show that's going to be telling the truth. We're the show that if you want to hear truthful answers, you can come to us. Like I said, we'll be doing the phone calls. You'll be able to ask questions, and you'll get truthful answers. Because we're not going to put up with the bullshit that they've been handing us. They've been spoon-feeding us for the last 100 years. We're tired of it. We want some real truth. People want some real truth. The political bullshit that's going on all the time. I tell people all the time, your participation ends at the voting booth. Because after that, you can jump up and down, scream all you want to. They don't pay attention to us. They're not going to, unless it's going to better them in some type of political way. That's the only time that they ever listen to us. Other than that, they call themselves the leaders of this country. They are not the leaders of this country. We have one leader, and not too sure about him either. But we're going to get down to the truth of things. We're going to bring you the truth and nothing but that. And you'll always, always be able to rely on that. So if you can, please join us. Join us with this show. Like I said, we're going to discuss everything that lies in the unknown and beyond the veil. I hope to see you soon. Have a great day.